guys, my name is Eliza and this is Eliza's Bookshelf. Today I want to go over all the books that I read in June as well as my July TBR. And I am trying to do this under 10 minutes because we have to go soon to San Diego. We are going to have a pool party at my brother's. So I already tried filming this once and ran out of space on my card. So I have to do it all over. Maybe that'll make it go a lot quicker. Actually, yes. Let me just separate the books again. Okay, I am separating this once again into piles of like not major favorites into really enjoyed and then my absolute favorites. So let's get started. Dawn of the Onyx by Kate Golden. This I really enjoyed while I was reading it. I just put it on the bottom because at the end of the day, I'm like, what did I even read about? Like who are the characters, you know? But basically you have Arwen Valendale who is trying to run away from, you know, this crazy king, whatever, I don't even know. The Onyx King. Yeah, she's trying to run away from them, from the Onyx King and his soldiers, whatever, right? And so she is escaping with her family, but she has to go back to the house because they forgot something, and she gets captured by King Onyx's men. She is placed into this prison, and there somehow they find out that she has magical healing capabilities, so they actually use her to heal their men. And so after that, she is making friends with this other prisoner who's right next door, but eventually she finds out information about him that makes her really hate him. So it's like enemies to lovers type of things, right? Yeah, actually thinking about it now, I might want to read the second one. I don't know if I'll make it a priority, but this was number 1 of a series, and I think the next one comes out in a really long time, next year, so who knows. The next one I want to talk about is The Last Word by Taylor Adams. This is the same author who wrote No Exit that I wasn't really interested about, but it turned into a movie really quick actually, and I watched that and I really loved it, so I was like, hey, maybe I'll give this a chance. And the premise I thought was very interesting. You have this woman who went through something very traumatic, very, very traumatic. You'll find out at the end what happened, but basically all you know right now is that she's running away from reality. And she is avoiding, like, you know, her family and stuff like that. And she's hiding away at this big cabin in the middle of nowhere on top of a cliff. And she's just spending her days eating and reading. And she gets a recommendation from a neighbor of this book that, I don't know, he thought she would like. And she read it and she hated it and she gave it a 1-star review on Amazon. I'm gonna say Amazon, but it might be anything else, right? And so the author messages her like through email or something and was like, hey, your review is kind of damaging to my career. Can you take it down? And she's like, no, I'm not gonna take it down. So it's kind of a little bit back and forth and kind of creepy. I think he gets a little bit threatening, but yeah, things happen around the house, some creepy things. So you're like, oh shoot, this guy is coming to kill her. So I thought it was very interesting. The twist was, I don't know, I wasn't really satisfied with the twist, but I did overall enjoy this book. Next one is Quarts Roses by Carissa Broadbent. This is a novella that was meant to be read in between the duet. So you have The Serpent and the Wings of Night, and you have The Ashfire King Star-Crossed. No, the Ashfire King is another book. What is that book called? The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King. The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King. Wow, that sounds like really close to the second book in the Stardust Thieves series called The Ashfire King. Oh my gosh, I'm getting all these titles mixed up. Anyway, this is a novella meant to be read in between those two. I, however, didn't read it that way. I read the first 2 books in the Crowns of Nyaxia world, which is called, oh my god, I'm so confused. Whatever, it's a duet, right? And so I read the duet first, and then I read this, and it's because I met the 2 characters that this novella is based on in the second book, and I was really intrigued about their story and their love life, you know, how they became to be. And so that's why I picked up this one. But basically you have Lilith, who is a human with a terminal illness, and she is trying to do like little tests and stuff like that on vampire blood and try to find a cure for her illness, which is affecting a lot of other people in her realm as well. And so she goes and travels and meets Vale, who is this very, very old vampire, and he's so old that he's so bored with life, right? And he's actually like taking an interest in Lilith because he's like, who's this person who's always coming here and, you know, braving the weather and stuff like that. Anyway, so she is offering 1 magic rose for every vial of blood that he gives her to test on, and it's just so cute. I think it's very sweet. It's definitely a different vibe and feel from the duet because the duet is very like, you know, violent, high stakes and stuff, and this one is just very sweet. It's a little love story of theirs. I loved it. Okay, now let's get into the other pack of books here. let's talk about, okay, Daughter of the Pirate King. I like this one. This is a YA pirate fantasy, and you have the daughter of the Pirate King. The Pirate King is like the pirate who is overruling the vast ocean, right? Who has control of everything, basically. But you have different subsections of pirates, and she is trying to get on this other pirate ship as a pretend prisoner. She's like, oh my gosh, sorry, you caught me, right? But really, it's her goal to go on their ship and try to like sneak around and find a map, because they're trying to get like 3 different maps and put them together in order to find this big treasure. So that's what this one is about. And you find a little bit more about her background, and that leads into book number 2. I forgot what book number 2 is called, but that's okay, because I think the title itself is a little bit of a spoiler for this one. Anyways, can't wait to read the second one. And then I want to get into Funny You Should Ask by Elisa Sussman. This is the second book that I read from her. The first one is her most recent one, Once More with Feeling, which I have later on in this list. But I loved it so much that I went back to read this one, which I had on my shelves this whole time. I thought this one was good. It was okay. I just liked her other one a lot better. But this one is about this journalist or whatever. She's interviewing this guy who is a famous actor, and he is becoming the first American to play James Bond. And so they bonded over that. Like, the whole interview process took place over a span of like 2 or 3 days, and they kind of like developed a strong relationship, but nothing really happened. Nothing crazy really happened, but obviously it didn't work out. And then like a decade later, she is coming back to interview him again, and it's like, oh, why didn't we work out, right? What happened? But I thought it was interesting. It was good. And then I want to talk about Heartstopper by Alice Oseman. And this one I finally read. I know Sam loves this a lot, and I finally got to it. And I need to read, this is volume 1, and I need to read volume 2 before I finally can watch the series, because Sam told me that season 1 spans the 2 volumes. So I love this one. It was super cute. You have boys who fall in love. Anyways, shy and soft-hearted Charlie Spring, and then you have Nick Nelson. Nick is just the biggest cinnamon roll, and they're so cute. Boy meets boy. Boys become friends. Boys fall in love. So Nick Nelson does not really know that he's gay or bi or anything like that, but yeah, Nick is struggling with feelings of his own. They're so cute. I remember there was like a quote in here that I really, really liked. Let's see if I can find it real quick. Ah, here we go. I love it. Okay. So you have the friends at school, right? Speculating over what the relationship is like. And it's like, so Nick has a crush on Charlie, right? We've all been thinking it. They do seem really close. But Nick's not gay, is he? Well, I guess we don't know. He doesn't look gay. And didn't he have a crush on that girl, Tara Jones? And then this PE teacher. Yeah, Miss Singh, PE teacher and coach. You can't tell whether people are gay by what they look like, and gay or straight aren't the only 2 options. Anyways, it's very rude to be speculating about people's sexuality. Go home, lads. Yes. Anyways, I thought that was a cool quote. I love that one so much. I need to read the second one so I can watch it finally, because season 2 comes out soon, I think. Okay, and then I think, oh, damn. There's a lot. I don't know how I'm going to do this in 10 minutes. Okay, The Inadequate Heir. This is by Danielle Jensen. This is like the spin-off duet from the first books. It's The Bridge Kingdom and The Traitor Queen. And this one I really liked because you get into Zara and Karis's point of view during the war of the first 2 books, right? Like you know that they had a part in it at the end of the second book, The Traitor Queen, but you don't really see everything that they went through, and you get that in this book, and I loved it so much. What I also really liked is that you don't really have to remember anything from the first 2 books, because it does a good job of reminding you in this book, and I love that so much because I always forget all the details, and I didn't have to worry about it in here. So yeah, I'm excited about the second one. The second one in this duet is called The Endless Lore, and it comes out in the next few months, so I'm excited. I actually was not planning on reading this until, you know, closer to the date, but I was like, you know, mood reader. And my top 3 books I want to talk about: Once More with Feeling first by Elisa Sussman, and this one gives you all of the Britney Spears and Justin Timberlake vibes. You have these 2 friends who got to know each other a long time ago when they were at this camp that, you know, trains them to become, or like teaches them or preps you to become singers, actors, and, you know, entertainment. So yeah, they met then, but then they reconnected again years later when she became a real big pop star, and she is dating this guy in the boy band, and he is part of that boy band, but not, you know, not the person that she was dating then. Anyways, blows up in their face, and they don't speak for years. And then now, the now part of it, she is trying to revamp her career because things kind of went south, right? So she is trying to revamp her career by being the lead person in this Broadway show that her friend is writing. and he actually is the producer. So things are kind of weird, kind of awkward at the same time, but the tension is so good. So it's like a second chance romance type of thing. I know a lot of people don't really like entertainment business type of romances, but I thought this one was so good. Give this a try if you want to dabble in that. Next one I want to talk about, oh yeah, Red, White, and Royal Blue. If you watched my recent reaction video, you'll know that I love this book. I read it last month, but I already forgot a lot of details. Sorry, guys. So you have Alex, who is the son of the President of the United States, and then you have Prince Henry, and they are enemies. They hate each other for some reason that you'll find out why, but something happens and then they're forced to become friends, like fake friends, right? But throughout that, they get to know each other better, and then their friendship and love blossoms, and I love it so much. It's so sweet. I can't wait for the movie to come out next month. I've already put out feelers for like a watch party. Basically, we all just start the movie at the same time and then we chat together online, live on Discord or Instagram, whatever. I know some people are really interested so far, so I'm gonna rope them in. Like, I don't even care if they want to do it or not. I'm gonna chat with them while I watch it, but I'm so excited for it. And then my final book, Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. I love it so much that I have this copy and then I have this copy. I don't have Owlcrate. Don't remind me. I'm just so crushed about that still. But whatever. I'm trying to tell myself that I don't need every copy of every book that I love, but Divine Rivals. About these two people who work at this newspaper company. They're fighting to become the main writer, the main columnist of that newspaper company. And so they like hate each other's guts. She's like, who is this guy coming in to get my job? But apparently there's like this magic typewriter involved, guys. So she is actually writing to her brother, who is fighting in the front lines of this war that is started by the gods, right? And so her brother is roped away into this war and she misses him dearly. She is living with her mother, who is like, she's like an alcoholic or a drug addict, right? And so she's writing letters to her brother. She's never hearing back. And she's like, what is going on? Is he dead? And then one day she finally gets a letter back, but the letter is not what she wants. The letter says, this is not your brother. And so she's been writing to this guy that she's been writing to a person that she does not know at all, but they form kind of like a relationship through the letters, and it's so cute. I don't want to say more because I don't want to spoil it. Honestly, if you've heard a lot about this book, what I wanted to say won't really spoil it, but I'll just kind of leave it at that in case you haven't heard much and you want to go in blind, but I just loved it so much. I adored it. This one is Fairy Loot's version. I think it was May book or something, but look at the artwork there. And the end pages are so darn cute. And let's see. Isn't that beautiful? I don't know if you can see it, but yeah. I bought the UK edition too because I just love the artwork. I don't know if it's the same author because the artwork looks a little bit the same type of style, you know? But I don't want to say something that might not be true. And then you have the US version, which I don't like as much, but I'll take what I could get here. All right, so that is my wrap up for June, and let's get that out of the way. That's like probably the hardest thing for me to film ever because I don't remember anything that I read. Now I want to go over all the books that I want to read in July. And if you asked me this like 2 weeks ago, I would have had a completely different answer, but Sam let me know that Summer Ween Readathon is actually this month from June 7th to June 13th, so I kind of rearranged everything around. So I do want to go over the books that I want to read for that readathon, as well as other books that I meant to read with everyone else. So let's get started with the Summer Ween picks. I picked 3 initially, but then I put like 2 other ones in there at the end. So if I have time, I'll squeeze those in, but I want to read, I'm so excited for Riley Sager's The Only One Left. And I finally got this in. This is one of my book of the month picks. The Only One Left. Like, I've read every single book from Riley Sager and I loved all of them. Well, actually one I did not like much. I think it was like Lock the Room, Lock Every Door or something. The pink one, the pink cover one. Anyways, my favorites from Riley Sager are Survive the Night, which I think is controversial. Not a lot of people like that one. I like that one, and Home Before Dark. And this one sounds really good. Initially, when like the teaser went out, I was like, this seems very cheesy, but I'll let you know why. It's The Only One Left. It's basically a story about this girl who was accused to kill like this whole family or something like that, and now she is finally coming out and telling her story. So this is like the little tagline. At 17, Lenora Hope hung her sister with a rope, stabbed her father with a knife, took her mother's happy life. It wasn't me, Lenora said, but she's the only one not dead. So sounds super crazy. It is an addictive gothic chiller about a young caregiver assigned to work for a woman accused of a Lizzie Borden-like massacre decades earlier. So yeah, the old woman now is finally telling her story, and look how creepy the cover looks. I think this is one of my favorite covers by Riley Sager. Next one I want to read is Dark Corners, also a book of the month pick. This month's book of the month was really good for me, but this is Dark Corners. Apparently it's a #2 book in this series that involves the same character, which is Rachel Crall, a true crime podcaster. So she is getting roped in by the FBI, who needs her help in this case because this girl who went missing after visiting a suspected serial killer, they cannot find her at all. So the FBI is like, hey, we need to get this true crime podcaster to help us. I think it's wild, but apparently the FBI is like this hot guy, so I was like, sign me up. That is one. And then I also want to read Fraternity. This is Unplugged Bookbox's, I think, YA book of June. And if you guys don't know, I'm one of the reps for their company and I just love them so much. Their books are very well made. Like a lot of times I buy special edition books and I just don't want to touch them because I feel like I'm going to ruin them. But this one feels very heavy and very well made. And look at the cover. Look at the naked cover. It's just so good. Let's see, I'll show you. The naked cover, and then the end pages are so cute, and the design for the edges is also nice. This is actually like the main cover, I think. It's red, but they did an alternative color cover. Anyways, so this is about a, I think, like a gay fraternity, but then they find something there at the school. The boys happen upon the headmaster's copy of an arcane occult text. So it sounds super creepy. I'm excited to read this one. Let's see. Oh yeah, and the other two that I want to squeeze in is Hide by Kirsten White, and this is an amusement park themed kind of like supernatural thriller. Yeah, I guess I didn't realize that it was a supernatural thriller, and when I read horror books I love the supernatural, so I'm excited to read this one. I think Sam said she really liked it. I mistaken it because I thought she did not like it, but I think that was like the masses. So she was like, I'm one of the few that actually did love it, so I'm excited for that one. And then I want to read Runtime by Catherine Ryan Howard. She is one of my favorite authors for mystery thriller. I read 56 Days, which is a pandemic style thriller. I thought it was really good. And then I read, what is it? The Nothing Man, which is also really good. And so this is Runtime. It is based on it's based on a movie set. So basically this girl, she is a former soap star named Adele, and she is getting pulled in last minute to the movie project called Final Draft because like the main person backed out. Anyway, so there is a problem. Something isn't quite right about Final Draft. When the strange goings-ons on the script start to happen on set, she begins to fear that the real horror lies off stage. Oh, so creepy. And it reminds me of this movie that my husband and I watched a long time ago. I thought it was so scary. It's one of the scariest movies that I've seen, but basically you have this play set, right? And someone died on the set a long time ago, but that, you know, the dead person came back to haunt everyone. And the way I'm describing it doesn't sound very creepy, but like the visualizations is like so scary that it's probably one of those times where I pretended to fall asleep, so I didn't have to watch it with my husband. So there's that one. So that is for the Summer Ween readathon. And then I have a couple of other books that I want to read with people. So this is Jade Legacy. It's the last one in the Green Bones saga. This whole series just captures my whole heart, and it's very like sad. It's very stressful to me because I love these characters and I want everyone to be happy, but obviously they're part of this war and people are gonna die, and they are dying, and it's so sad. I just want everyone to be nice and happy and safe. But this is part of like the buddy reads that Daphne is hosting. The live show for this one is going to be on August 10th. We've already decided on a date, so hope to see some of you guys there. And then I am doing this buddy read with a couple of friends on Bookstagram. Love Theoretically. It is Allie Hazelwood's third book, but she has like a lot of novellas out. I haven't read any of them yet, but in general I did like her books. She has The Love Hypothesis. The second one is, I don't know, it's like escaping my mind here. Love on the Brain. I liked both of them. I know a lot of people didn't like it, but I liked it, and so I'm excited to read this one. I don't know what it's about, honestly. And then I want to finish this one is Rebecca Yarros's Last Letter. The Last Letter. It is a military romance, and I'm starting to think like our military romance is not for me, but I read the synopsis and I thought it was very interesting. So you have Beckett and you have Ryan, who are together in like special ops team, right? Beckett, the male main character, starts writing letters to Ryan's sister, and they begin to have this pen pal sort of relationship, right? Not a spoiler, but Ryan actually ends up dying, the brother to this pen pal. And in his last letter to Beckett, he's like, hey, you know, sorry that I'm dead, but can you take care of my sister because she is all alone. She has her twins. She's a single mother, and she's, you know, now that I'm gone, she is all by herself. So can you please take care of her? And so, yeah, it just goes on from there. And I am near the end already, and I don't know how I feel. I think it's like a lot of things that happen in here kind of piss me off, but it is very sad. And yeah, so this is my last one on the list. Oh yeah, I also want to read 7 Days of June, which is also a buddy read of Meredith's. Like, we're all chatting in Meredith's Discord, but she chose that for July's readathon, and I think it's starting soon, but I have that on my Libby. I do want to read it with them. I just don't know if I'm going to get to it, so that's a hopeful. Anyways, thank you so much for joining me for my June wrap up as well as my July TBR. Moving forward, I may put them into one video like this, but who knows? If it goes too long, I may separate it again. But anyways, thank you so much for joining me again. I'll see you next time. Bye!